Everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the marketing mix, the 4 P's of marketing that was taught to me by somebody who really knows his stuff, and it's really helped me with my e-commerce business. So here goes. What is the marketing mix? Basically, it's a concept that was discussed originally in the 50s and has become an essential part of your marketing toolkit. Really, if you're starting an e-commerce business, it's critical that you understand this because it's something that can really change the game for you. So the first thing is product. You need to understand your product. You need to, if you're going to be selling something online, don't just pick something random, think it's a good idea, and go and try to sell it. You got to actually think it through. So what does this product do? Who is this product for? Why is this product better than other products? The second thing in the mix is going to be your placement. Where are you going to place this product? Are you going to place it on your own website? Are you going to be placing it on Amazon? Are you going to be placing it on Takealot? Are you going to be placing it on Facebook Marketplace? The placement makes a huge difference because if you know where you're placing your product, you can look at your competitors. You can see who's competing in that place. If you think about it like this, they always talk about location for restaurants. You know, if you put a fancy restaurant in the middle of a poor area, you're probably not going to do great. If you put a, sort of a cheap, nasty fast food place in the middle of a luxury area, probably the same result. So you've got to match your location. Also, if you're in a location as a restaurant where there is simply nobody around, you are going to fail. And it's the exact same with e-commerce. So you need to think about where you're placing your products. You need to make sure that there's traffic going there. You need to make sure once you know that you're going to be placing your products there, who else is in the space, what are they offering, and how are they charging for their products? Where are you placed in the market? Are you going to be selling for the lower end? Are you going to be selling for the higher end? Know your placement. The next, which leads me into the next P, which is price. Your price, you may think, doesn't matter much, but I made the mistake of importing, or should I say exporting, a whole clothing range, thinking it was really amazing quality and people would buy it and pay a high price even though we didn't have a brand, and I was wrong. So learn from my mistakes and think carefully about your price. Think about your target market. Who is the person that's buying your product? How much money do they have to spend? Why are they buying it? Is this critical to what they need? Is this just a luxury for them? Where do they actually fit in terms of income? Where does your product fit in terms of quality? And let that help guide you as to your price. And the last part of the marketing mix is really your promotion. How are you going to be promoting this? If you are selling a product, you cannot assume that just by the fact that you put up a website, people are going to come and buy your product, because that's not how it works. So you need to figure out a plan for promoting your product. This can be a number of avenues. You can look at using things like Google ads. You can look at using Facebook ads. You can look at using SEO. You can do offline options. You can advertise in niche magazines, run different kinds of promotions. And you can look at, for example, if you're going to be selling, if you've decided that your placement will be, for example, on Amazon, you can use things like Amazon ads to drive traffic to your product. Your promotion method needs to be something that is suited to your product and will basically be a critical part of your marketing mix. Over the last few years, not even over the last few years, but later down the line from the 50s, there were 3 additional components that were added to the marketing mix, and some of them are a little bit surprising. I tend to stick with the 4 P's, but you do need to stick, and I'm actually gonna just bend forward and refer to an article to refresh my memory, because it's not, as I say, something that I normally think about, but I do believe it's something that we should be thinking about, which is the people. So You need to focus on the people and the personalities that are going to represent your brand in the current era. And an example that comes to mind for me is Kanye West. Has a huge following. Did a deal with Adidas. If I'm even saying that right, I've heard it pronounced so many different ways. But anyway, he did a deal with them. They had a good partnership. Personally, I think the shoes are kind of ugly, but that's just me. Anyway, he made some anti-Semitic remarks and followed it up by some really nutty stuff. Adidas decided to, break ties with him, which I personally believe was the right thing to do, but it did cost them a lot of money. It did cost him a lot of money. So I think that if you're having people represent your brand, you need to think about who those people are, what do they represent, because if you make the wrong decision there, just remember they are representing your brand. The second P of these extra 3 Ps is process. And there we're really talking a lot about the logistics of getting your product to your customers. So you may not think of it as marketing, but in actual fact, it's a huge, huge part of marketing, because people have become accustomed to getting their goods really, really fast. I know that for my Amazon products, the products that I sell on Amazon FBA, one of the reasons I like using FBA is because they get the products to their customers really, really fast. And I think in this day and age, that has become a critical thing. It is the difference between getting a sale or not getting a sale. When I order my groceries, I order them on an app from a supermarket. I get my groceries within 1 hour. So even though it's not strictly a marketing thing, definitely tied in and considered part of the process for if you expand the 4 Ps into the 7 Ps. And the last bit of the 7th P of the additional Ps there is really just physical evidence. And that is something that's very, very difficult in an e-commerce business, because if you, for example, are selling high-end goods, let's say you're selling wedding rings, you can have a shop, you can have a physical shop, people can come there, they can see your credibility, they can walk in, they can see that you're in a good shopping center, you look legitimate, your jewelry is unlikely to be fake, and they can have a look at it, they can pick it up. When you're dealing with an online store, you have to develop that same credibility. So how do you do that? How do you get physical evidence in a virtual world? So there's a few things. And the first thing that customers look at, in my opinion, is reviews and ratings. Very, very important. Your product has to be high quality. And if it's not, relative to its price, then you are going to get bad ratings. That is the equivalent to the physical evidence that people can see. Your ratings count a huge amount. Other things that you'll find, especially if you're promoting, whether you're promoting on something like Google Ads, for example, you need to set up Merchant Center. You need to put an address on your website. You need to put a telephone number. You need ways that people can contact you. You need ways that you need to list your returns policies and that sort of thing. Even though it's not strictly physical evidence in the same way that a brick and mortar store would have, it is what gives you credibility. And I would say that from an e-commerce perspective, that is pretty much as close as you can get to fulfilling that last P of physical evidence. So give yourself credibility by actually running a credible business. So even though you can generate leads online a lot of the time without putting in a lot of details, at the end of the day, when you're selling products, people want to buy from somebody that they trust. That's why big stores like Amazon, for example, do so well. People trust them. So you need to think about that as part of your marketing mix. I'm going to go back to the original 4 Ps just to sum up, because at the end of the day, that's what I'd like you to focus on. So just remember, number 1, product. What are you selling? Why is it better? Number 2, price. Is your price aimed at your target market? Is it a high-end good? Is it low-end good? Price accordingly. Placement. Make sure that you're placed where your product will do well and know who your competition is. And promotion. Figure out a promotion plan before you get started. Thank you for joining me, and keep on pushing towards your goals.